You should have seen it in color.
But of a day when war ended and our nation was again at peace. Ever since the armistice of November the 11th, 1918, this day has been to remember our debt to all who have worn the uniform of the United States. Our veterans have borne the costs of America's wars and have stood watch over America's peace. And today, every veteran can be certain the nation you served and the people you defended are grateful. Today and every day, the prayers of the American people are with those who wear our country's uniform. They serve a great cause, and they follow a great tradition handed down to them by America's veterans. Our veterans from every era are the finest of citizens. We owe them the life we know today. They command the respect of the American people, and they have our lasting gratitude. The military life is built around sacrifice and complete devotion to America. If you have lived that life, then you know the meaning of commitment to a greater cause. In so many ways, the life we live today has been shaped by our veterans. On Veterans Day, we remember the fallen, and we show our respect to those still among us, the veterans we know as our friends, neighbors, relatives, and colleagues. Not every veteran has known the full fury of battle, but most count their time in uniform among the defining experiences of their lives. The military drew out the best that was in them, instilling the highest standards of diligence, discipline, and loyalty. That is a bond joining every veteran from every branch of the service, whether drafted or enlisted, commissioned or non-commissioned. Each took an oath, lived by an oath, and stood ready to fight and die for their country. More than a generation has passed since the war ended in Vietnam. Since that time, even since the war in the Persian Gulf, the technology of warfare has become far more complex and sophisticated. Yet our most basic military asset has not changed at all. It is the character, the daring, and the resourcefulness of those who do the fighting. No matter how complicated war might be, it always comes down to the ones who fly the planes, man the ships, and carry the rifles. And our country's military has left a legacy like no other fighting force ever assembled. The uniform they wear and the flag they carry are held in esteem wherever they have served. And that is their finest tribute. Across the world, to people who struggle and suffer, the sight of an American in uniform has meant hope, relief, and deliverance. Veterans Day is set aside to remember every man and woman who has taken up arms to defend our best years of their lives to the service of the United States and stood ready to give life itself on our behalf. 25 million veterans walk among us, and on this day, our nation thanks them all. When history looks back upon the records of our age and our nation centuries from now, I believe it will be written that once there was a great nation of free people who sent their very best young men and women out to serve on the frontiers of freedom in uniform. They went forth to defend their nation and its ideals, giving up the comforts and conveniences of home. They led lives of great consequence, for they kept the torch of liberty burning in the oldest democracy on earth. Each and every one of them were heroes, and gave to every child born thereafter a precious and irreplaceable gift. And their nation remains eternally grateful.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome, veterans. We are delighted that you're here. The students of Central Elementary have worked long and hard preparing this celebration in your honor. We hope you enjoy this program and it will be a meaningful experience for everyone here. My name is Sam Austin. I'm with KZHE radio station, and it's a great honor for me to be here every year for Veterans Day. This is something that means a lot to me, my family, and many people I know appreciate everything you have done. This is a day that is yours, and I hope that it's a great day for you and that you see many, many people today that thank you for your service and what you have done. Would you like to say something this time for me now? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mayor of Magnolia, Mr. Parnell Vann.
Thank you so much, Ms. Burdine, the entire staff at Magnolia Public Schools. Students, thank you for having me. You know, last year I sat in the coaches section in the back, and this place was full, and I thought I had hair growing. What the veterans mean to me. Last year I was in an election, and I won an election to be your mayor by 3 votes. And I was faced with a runoff election. But the thing that stood out to me, that barely 3,000 people voted in our city. And we have about 8,500 people that can vote. And what it told me is these men and women sitting right here on this floor gave all they had. Some gave with their life to give us the freedoms to vote, to give us the freedoms, children, to play video games, to play basketball, to go to college, to have a life. Yes, we live in the greatest country in the world, and we are free to do what we want to do. But these men and women right here made that possible. So don't ever forget the veteran. And I thank God for each and every one of you. And if the city of Magnolia can ever help you in any way, as your mayor, don't hesitate. You come to me. I love you and thank you for what you do. And kids, eat your carrots. You see these? Eat carrots. They're good for you. Real quick, I'd like to thank the Magnolia Fire Department, the Magnolia Police Department for their presence. To me, they're just as a vital part of veterans here in our city, too. I appreciate you guys being here. Ms. Burdine asked me to do a special proclamation for one of you today, and it's hard to do it for one because you're all special to me. You've all paid the price. But today, the proclamation by the city of Magnolia to honor James L. Hughes. James L. Hughes will be honored by his friends and family at Panther Arena in Magnolia, Arkansas, today's date. In tribute to outstanding honor and service, he retires as Colonel from the United States Air Force September the 1st, 1973. He served 25 years, 2 months in the military. Starting out the Navy, leaving at his graduation ceremonies from boot camp. He later joined the Air Force as an aviation cadet where he flew many airplanes as a pilot, test pilot, and instructor. He was a fighter pilot flying the F-105, which is what he flew when he was shot down over Vietnam. He was a prisoner of war in Vietnam from May the 5th, 1967 to March the 4th, 1973. He was honored with many awards, such as the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Air Medal, the Air Force Accommodation Medal, the Bronze Star, the Prisoner of War Medal, and countless other accommodations. By virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of this great city, I do hereby deem it an honor and a privilege to extend this certification to James L. Hughes.
Thank you, Parnell. Folks, it is an honor to be here on Veterans Day as we remember the men and women of our armed forces who, throughout our history, have sacrificed their lives so that we might live in freedom. These men and women ask for little, yet they inspire so much. They ask for only the gratitude of a grateful nation, and yet they inspire all of us with their commitment to the values and the ideals on which this country was founded. So today is for honoring our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who are giving their all today around the world for a better future for all Americans. And for the memory of those that have passed, let us recommit ourselves to never forget the sacrifices of these fallen and of their families. Let us convince ourselves to renew our commitment to the values and ideals that have made this nation what it is today, the greatest nation in the world. Will you please stand as we post the American flag and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, let's remain standing for a moment of silence and the playing of taps while we remember those who have lost their lives in service to our country. Thank you. Thank you very much, veterans and students. You may all be seated. Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to the more than 650,000 American service members who have died in battle, or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today. Today we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave. We share our rewards of freedom, and we share in the breathtaking beauty of this sweet land of liberty. This paradise of shorelines and deserts, of forests and plains, of canyons and rivers and lakes, of fertile fields and rocky mountains is ours. We are free to explore the beauty of America, to travel wherever our dreams will take us. Please stand and join our students as we sing about the beauty of our nation, My Country 'Tis of Thee. Maybe see. That last part she did, my wife always does that to me. That right there, cuts you off at the end. I get that a lot. Students, great job. Great job. I know it means a lot to these veterans today for you to sing to them and be here and show support. America has much to face in the next chapter of freedom's story, but this nation remains strong and united. Thank you, veterans, for the sacrifices you made so that each of us can be free. Let us all remember that freedom is not free. The Arkansas Military Veterans Staff Hall of Fame is a nonprofit organization that is based and incorporated in the Arkansas state, whose objective is to publicly emphasize the honor brought to our state and nation by the sacrifice of Arkansas's military veterans and their families. The primary purpose for which the corporation has been organized is exclusively charitable and educational, more specifically to honor Arkansas military veterans and to educate Arkansas through the Arkansas Military Veterans Hall of Fame website of their outstanding accomplishments. Up to 15 Arkansas military veterans will be inducted into the Hall of Fame and awarded the Hall of Fame Medallion, recognizing their military service to our nation and to the state of Arkansas during the annual banquet. Today, we are honored to have one of those 15 inductees with us. Here to introduce that individual is Magnolia Mayor Mr. Parnell Vann and State Representative Mr. Lane Jean. Please make them welcome.
Good morning. It's good to have all the students here. It's an honor to be with the veterans today on this Veterans Day. I want to tell the students, you hear a lot of things sometimes about what a great American is. And we look at ball players, we look at presidents and governors, politicians and stuff like that. But that's not truly the great Americans. The great Americans are the ones that left their families and left their homes and went and defended our freedom. And I want to tell the students here, these are great Americans. And I also want you to, if you've never done this, go to the courthouse on the northeast side of the square. There's a monument up there that's we have established many years ago that has every veteran that gave their life, the ultimate sacrifice that we may have the freedom to do what we're doing. Go up there and read the names, honor the monument, because that's what it's all about. These people have given us the ability to have our lives and go out and pursue our dreams. And freedom is not free. Freedom has a cost. We were mentioned that today is an induction up in Conway, and sad to say I sponsored legislation with some veterans came to me on this last session to establish the Military Hall of Fame. That was one of the proudest things I did in this session, was to set up an avenue that we can honor our veterans. And yes, today one of our own, Jim Hughes, is going to be honored tonight in Conway. Sad to say I cannot be there because other things I do is referee high school football games, and we have a game tonight. But we're going to miss being there because it's going to be a great event. The state of Arkansas is honoring war heroes, veterans that did outstanding service to our country and our state. I have a citation that I'm going to read. And Jim, I saw you come in out there. If you would like to make your way, and I would be honored if your lovely wife, Paula, would come up here with you. I'm going to read this citation, and Mayor Vann and I would like to present it to you if you would just make your way up here as I read it. Citation from the House of Representatives for James L. Hughes. James L. Hughes, who enlisted in the United States Navy in 1945 during World War II and was honorably discharged in 1946. Went on to enlist in the United States Air Force in 1949 and was commissioned as second lieutenant in 1950. And a Vietnam veteran is now inducted in the first class of the Arkansas Military Hall of Fame. Whereas James L. Hughes, who was awarded 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses, was shot down over Hanoi and a prisoner of war from 1967 to 1973, after he was awarded an Air Medal, and married a young lady, Paula Hughes. We were classmates, and she was sending correspondence to him while he was a POW, prisoner of war in Hanoi, and the rest is history. They've made a fine couple all these years. I'm proud to say both of them are my friends.
The House of Representatives, the 88th General Assembly of the State of Arkansas, take great pride in recognizing James L. Hughes for his many accomplishments and wish him the best in the future. Now therefore, pursuant to the motion of Representative Lane Jean and Representative David Fielding, David could not be here today, he had obligations in Little Rock. The Arkansas House of Representatives directs that this citation be presented on the 11th day of November 2011 to James L. Hughes, signed Lane Jean, State Representative, and David Fielding. James.
I was telling Lane Jean yesterday that I watched last night Vietnam in HD on the History Channel, and can't imagine what this man has gone through in his life. It's pretty incredible what many of you have gone through, but for that man to be with us today is an incredible honor. It really, really is. Thank you for coming today, Mr. Hughes, and glad you're here to come enjoy to stay with us. Now at this time, the Magnolia Senior High Boys Choir will sing a song about the sacrifices made by a young soldier who wants to leave a message for his father about his service. The song is Tell My Father. very talented young men there. Great job, guys. We gather together to celebrate America. America. A nation unique in human history. A nation of unparalleled beauty and natural resources. A nation willing and able to pay the price freedom demands. We're here today to reflect, to rejoice, to reaffirm our commitment to the dreams and sacrifices of freedom's pioneers. From the north to the south, from the east to the west, from the mountains' highest peaks to the valleys' fruited plains, from every village, town, city, and state, from sea to shining sea, let freedom ring. From those early days in our nation's history, since the founding of the U.S. Navy in 1775, there are certain core values that have carried on through the years. These values: honor, courage, and commitment. The U.S. Navy motto are principles that are evident in the life of our guest speaker today, Mr. Mike Hogan. That's Dr. Mike Hogan. Dr. Mike Hogan spent 11 years in the U.S. Navy as a deep-sea diver and search and rescue swimmer. After leaving the Navy, Mike worked for Oceaneering International for 7 years as an underwater welder and diving supervisor. He is currently a gospel preacher. His education: DPC, Doctor of Pastoral Counseling, THD, Doctor of Theology, MTH, Master of Theology, BRE, Bachelor of Religious Education, PTS, Preacher Training School, Northwest Florida School of Biblical Studies. Mike married Anita over 30 years ago, who was also in the Navy. They have 2 children, Ashley and Brandon. Their son is a naval aviator, flight officer for 11 years. Please help me welcome Dr. Mike Hogan.
Say that I appreciate the invitation to speak with you at such a distinguished audience. I count it a privilege and an honor to be numbered with you as we reflect upon this great day of which we can honor our veterans and those that have fallen. I want to first of all thank the school system, Cindy Burdine and others who see fit to put on such an event as this. It's extremely important and powerful that we all remember why we are free and what the cost of our freedom truly is. When I consider honoring our veterans, I must also include the families of those who allow their sons and their daughters, their husbands and mothers, to go into foreign fields and fight for the freedom that we all enjoy. Sometimes we take that freedom for granted, and I hope that we always remember the sacrifice and the value that this country places on freedom, and the men and women who serve and those that have died on the battlefield in foreign lands, that we could stand here this day and enjoy such a great country that is the United States of America. 235 years plus, we have enjoyed the freedom of this great country. It came with a great price. The preamble of our Constitution tells us about the purpose of government and of our Constitution, that it is to defend our rights of liberty and to give us justice. The history of the world is not pretty. As a matter of fact, most countries in the world since the beginning of creation until this day live in fear and in persecution and in absolute tyranny. and we are a light on a hill. We've existed but just for a few short years of human history and have accomplished so much, not because we're such great people or we live in such a great land, but it is the framework of our Constitution. It is that which we yearn for: liberty, justice, the ability to go out and to earn and make a living, to have the talents and the wherewithal to do whatever our dreams tell us we must do, to live as a moral people, and to serve our God without being told which God we are to serve or to what religion we are to belong. And it is this great country that our veterans spent their time sacrificing a great deal that we may sit here today and enjoy and reflect upon this great country. Benjamin Franklin said, "Freedom is not a gift bestowed upon us by other men, but a right that belongs to us by the laws of God and nature." Our government is not here to give us our rights, because any government that can give rights can take rights away. But our government, as designed by our founding fathers, put government in place to defend our God-given rights, to hold them and to cherish them, and that is their purpose for existence, and to do just things to people and for people and on behalf of people. If there must be trouble, Thomas Paine said, "Let it be in my day that my child may have peace." Our founding fathers pledged their lives, they pledged their wealth, and their sacred honor for the American experiment. And this American experiment has been such a great blessing to the world. Our soldiers, our men and women who are serving, and those that have served, would easily, for our children, give our lives that our children may live free and in peace. But the fact of the matter is, peace and liberty and justice has enemies all around the globe. And they cannot wait to eradicate the peace and the liberty that we enjoy, because other countries live in tyranny and we live in freedom. Thomas Paine also said, "We fight not to enslave, but to set a country free, and to make room upon the earth for honest men to live in." And that's the kind of home that we make for people who are tired of living in an oppressed nation, where they can come to this country and be assimilated into this wonderful country called the United States of America. I want to give a challenge to the students here in this audience. Learn of this great country. This great country has made some mistakes, there's no doubt about it. But find a better country in the world. You won't find it. Let us be the generation that will stand up for that which is right. Let us defend the liberties and the freedoms of this country. Let us enjoy the blessings and hand it down to our children. That is, the blessings that come from God and nature's God. Ronald Reagan said, "Freedom is always just one generation away from extinction. We don't pass it on to our children through the bloodstream. We have to fight for it and protect it, and then hand it down so that they shall do the same. Or we're going to find ourselves spending our sunset years telling of our children and telling our children's children about the time in America back in the day when men and women were free." Learn of this great country, learn of the cost and the price of this great country, learn to respect it and enjoy it. Again, I thank all of our veterans of all branches of service that are represented here. And I thank everyone who are responsible for putting on this today to honor these men and women. Because truly, it is a blessing to be a part of this wonderful group. My son is a naval aviator. He's been in the military about 12 years. And as he was being commissioned as an officer in the U.S. Navy, the commanding officer asked everyone in the hangar the families that represented the young ensigns who were being commissioned to stand up, all the veterans stand up, and those in active military. And out of the hundreds that were there, only a few stood up because it's a small club that we are a part of. But I can assure you it's a club that I'm very proud of, and I'm very thankful for each and every one of you. Thank you for the great cost. Thank you for the service of this country, and for your children, that our children may have peace through our sacrifice. God bless U.S. of A.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hogan. America's freedom did not evolve. It was pursued and claimed by those who put the interest of their family, friends, and neighbors above their own. America has always been a nation of heroes, of those who willingly put themselves in harm's way so that we might remain a free people. Let us honor those among us who have left the comforts of families and homes to preserve, protect, and defend our freedom. Would each of our veterans please stand while your name and service to our country is announced. And now at this time we will introduce the veterans that are in attendance today. Todd D. Ainsworth, Air Force, 10 years. Harold Alford, Air Force, 4 years. Brian Ayers, Army, 15 years. Chad Bailey, Air Force, 19 years. Gina Bailey, Air Force, 16 years. Timothy Biddle, Army, 20 years. Donald R. Blackwood, Air Force, 6 years. Carl Burdine, Air Force, 4 years. David Burdine, Air Force, 4 years. Alondo Caldwell, Army Reserves, 9 years. Jackie D. Camp, Army, 6 years. James Clark, Navy, 4 years. Coast Guard, 27 years. Scott Clark, Marines, 6 years. James H. Crisp, Navy, 6 years. Joe Curry, Army, 2 years. National Guard, 6 years. Benny Davis, Air Force, 23 years. Claudie Davis, Army, 42 years. Eric Davis, Army, 3 years. Johnny Dindy, Army, 2 years. Bill Denny, Army Reserves, 5 years. Air National Guard, 11 years. Christopher Ryan Dobbins, Arkansas National Guard, 4 years. Georgette Easter, Army, 10 years. Julius Elmore, Army, 2.5 years. April Freeman, Army, 10 years. Robert Gaines, Army, 28 years. John David Gore, Army, 4 years. Travis Gore, Army, 2 years. Donnie R. Grissom, Navy, 20 years. Mike Hagan, Army, 4 years. Herschel Hampton, National Guard, 8 years. Bobby J. Harris, Sr., Air Force, 4 years. Hartsfield, Army, 9 years. Claude Henderson, Marines, 6 years. Jerry Hilliard, Army. Dr. Mike Hogan, Navy, 11 years. Donald Hogg, Navy, 4 years. Harold Hughes, Army, 1 year. Colonel Jim Hughes, POW, Air Force, 25 years. Fred Douglas Johnson, Army, 27 years. Ronald Jones, Air Force, 5 years. Joseph L. Joseph, Air Force, 12 years. Jerry W. Keith, Army, 23 years. Marshall Keener, Army, 2 years. Wendell King, served in the Army. Bob Lee, Navy, 3 years. Richard Lee, Air Force, 21 years. James Love, Air Force, 4 years. Jody Mallory, Army National Guard, 16 years. Ronald Marsh, Army, 5 years. Milton McDonald, Army, 33 years. Gary McKinney, Army, 2 years. David Monica, Army, 9 years. Ronald Moore Jr., Navy, 28 years. Robert Murphy, 2 years. National Guard, 36 years. Anthony Needham, Navy, 4 years. Dr. Bill Nielsen, Air Force, 4 years. Jerry Don O'Neill, Navy, 28 years. Terrell Page Sr., Army, 15 years. I'll give you a break because I know we can get louder, students. Let's start making some noise. Get louder for these veterans. Xavier Paxton, Purple Heart, Army, 11 and a half years. Tom Pearson, Air Force, 20 years. Dean Pettis, Marines, 3 years. That's more like it. Eddie Phelps, Army, 3 years. Dale Prince served in the Army. Tiara Purifoy served in the Army. Gary Pyle, Air Force, 6 years. Willie Reed, Air Force, 4 years. Kerry Roach, Army, 3 years. Kevin Roberts, Army, 13 and a half years. DeRhonda Rogers, Oklahoma National Guard, 3 years. Arthur Rohn, Army, service in the Army. Doyle Shore, Navy, 19 years. Pat Simmons, Air Force, 3 years. Danny R. Smith, Navy, 7 years. Howard Smith, Marines, 3 years. John Smith, Texas Army National Guard, 22 years. Julia Smith, Arkansas National Guard, 13 years. Larry Smith, Army, 3 years. Jeremy Schneider, Army, 2 years. Russell Thomas, Army, 5 years. Herbert D. Turner, Army, 4 years. Paul Voss, Army, 12 years. Jerry Walker, Navy, 2.5 years. Mr. Jerry Walsh. Sonny Williams, Air Force, 4 years. Terry Williams, Army, 6 years. Charles Lynn Wilson, Army and National Guard, 3 years. John Witcher, served in the Army. James T. Wright, Navy, 4 years. James D. Pace, Air Force, 4 years. George Barnes, Army, 6 years. Charles Mallory, Army, 23 years. Denise McWilliams, Air Force, 4 years. Aubrey Ellison, Navy, 3.5 years. Benny Langhell, Army, 2 years. Bless Johnson, Army, 20 years. Cleotis Sharp, Army, 25 years. Amos Elmore, Army, 20+ years. And Mario Cooper, Army, 12 years. Now, are there any veterans here today that we have not recognized? If there are, if we didn't call your name, please stand. What's your name, sir? Merrill Jones. Service? Air Force and Army. Give him a round of applause. You, sir. I'm getting older. J.C. Johnson, Navy, 4 years. On the end here. Mr. McDonald, Army. Daniel Middleton, Army. Dale Hendricks, Navy, 4 years. Lawrence Hart, Army, 4 years. Army. Billy O'Gwen, 22 years, Army. Anita Hogan, Navy, 2 years. Is she here? Is she here? All right, good. Okay. All right. Up there? Okay. Okay. All right. Good. Good. Now, if we can, you students got really loud. Let's see how loud we can get for all of our veterans here today. one more. We've got plenty to go here as we thank our veterans for being here today. Folks, from the very foundations of this democracy, our citizens have offered the sacrifice that freedom requires. From the very foundations of the democracy, we have honored those who cherish liberty more than life. We will not forget. Our next guest needs no introduction. Miss Beth Ann Rankin has participated in Central Elementary School's Veterans Celebration for several years. She is a former Miss Arkansas. She has worked in the Arkansas Governor's Office as a policy advisor and liaison to the White House, Capitol Hill, and multiple gubernatorial organizations, including the National Governors Association, the Council of State Governments, and the Southern Governors Association. During that time, she labored to make the state government work efficiently and fought against unfunded federal mandates. Rankin coordinated the Governor's Summit on Economic Development to create a long-term strategic economic plan that would create jobs and strengthen infrastructure to enhance economic development for Arkansas. Beth Ann also organized the Play It Again Arkansas musical educational program and chaired the statewide initiative for the design of the Arkansas State Quarter, which led the nation in citizen participation. In addition, Beth Ann worked as an active member of the board of the Arkansas Martin Luther King Jr. Commission to encourage King's message of nonviolence and faith. Please welcome Miss Beth Ann Rankin as she sings one of her own compositions with our students, She'll See Me Stand.
She seemed north against the south.
Thank you, Beth Ann, for your willingness to help teach our students about patriotism and sharing your talents with us every year. Thank you so much. Our students have spent a lot of time learning patriotic songs and would like to sing a song from each of the military branches. Will you please stand when they sing about the military branch in which you served? Kind of gave us a chill up here. Those kids did a fantastic job. Super job, guys. Well, today we salute our heroes who returned from the battlefield and now exist both here and abroad. We remember and revere those who did not return. We mourn with the families who have faced staggering losses. Throughout the history of this nation, there have been many that have bravely given their lives to protect our freedom. There were people from all walks of life who found themselves in the grip of crisis and rose to greatness. They are Americans. They are family, friends, and neighbors. We know them, we love them, and we miss them. The Magnolia High School Choir will now sing a song about the ultimate sacrifices made by our servicemen and women of the United States. Please welcome Mr. Larry Dunn and the Magnolia High School Choir as they sing Blades of Grass and Pure White Stones. Incredible job. Thank you, Mr. Larry Dunn. You did a great job with these kids. They are very talented. Thank you, veterans, for sharing part of this special day with us. We will not forget your individual service to our country. It's because of you that we're free to be here today. And we want to thank you for being a part of this special program at Central. We have two more special guests that we'd like to have you meet before we sing our last song. Mr. Josh Key and Mr. Matt Green have participated in our Veterans Day celebration and other special programs at Central School. If you will, please welcome to the stage, along with Miss Rankin, Mr. Larry Dunn for our last song, I Pledge My Allegiance to the Grand Old Flag.
In a Midwestern town, children form a parade with the flag bearer leading the way. And there's farmers and teachers, the old and the young, they live together, their voices to sing. I pledge my allegiance to the grand old flag and the promise of war from sea to sea. Under God, one nation undivided, we will stand, lift the banner of liberty. It's the final kickoff for the NFL, and the stadium is packed with screaming fans. All the banners flying, the color-guarded bands like a winged silent through the stands. I pledge my allegiance to the grand old flag and the promise of hope from sea to sea. Under God, one nation undivided, we will stand, lift the banner of liberty. Where a child is hungry, where men have no hope, where the powerless are yearning to breathe free. Let us fight for justice till there's justice for all, and become what God meant us to be. I pledge
Wow. Well, if that doesn't get you going, I don't know what will. That was amazing. Wow. Again, thank you very much to everybody that came out today. You folks that are here, I would love to see these stands packed next year. You folks that have come to this, you've got to realize how important this is. Tell your friends to come next year, to come to this, to let these veterans know how much we appreciate them. This is an incredible program, and they should see this. They should be a part of this. It's a great feeling. At this time, I'd certainly like you to thank the person responsible for putting this together today, if you will. How about a big round of applause to Mrs. Cindy Burdine. You can stay a while if you like. We'd like for you to mingle with each other, talk to each other, and just reflect on some moments here and enjoy your day. Veterans, we want to thank you very much for coming out today, but most importantly, we want to thank you for what you have done. You are incredible men and women, and we thank you very much. Give them a round of applause and let them know how much they mean to us. Thank you very much for coming out today. Have a great Veterans Day.